Hey everyone, welcome back to TCG. This weekend I played my Don Zaloog deck at an Edison tournament. For people who have watched videos from my channel in the past, I've played a Don Zaloog deck in GOAT, and I pretty much just try to translate that deck as much as possible into Edison, which had several of my opponents actually asking me if I was playing a GOAT deck. This deck was a lot of fun to play. I made top four despite going 2-2. Round one, my losses were in round one and round four. I lost to Beast Aggro, and then round four I lost to Quick Draw. Rounds two and three I play against Zombie and Machina Gadget, which were my wins. Overall, the deck played pretty well. I feel like this deck, it struggles with bigger monsters, and of course like hands that kind of just blow you out. I feel like if like any game where your opponent's like you and your opponent are just there like sitting down and playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's like very like interactive, this deck like thrives playing interactive games. But games where your opponent just has all the answers, it's just hard for this deck to recover. Um, but otherwise this deck did very well. I had a great time playing it, and it just felt like something original and creative, which is something I've been struggling to find with Edison. In GOAT format, I feel I can just like take cards, and as long as I build it well enough and have like a clear concept of what I want to accomplish, I can do very well. But in Edison, it feels more like you kind of have to play the good archetypes, or you're just not going to do good at all. So it's very hard to find something that clicks with me in Edison. So this deck was pretty fun to play. So to get right into it, of course, we're playing 3 Don Zaloog with the gun. This card, it's pretty much the heart and soul of the deck. The idea is just you hit your opponent with this, or they hit into its 1500 defense, deal damage, rip a card out of their hand, and that's how you pretty much control the tempo of the game, is just by ripping cards out of their hand and threatening them with Don Zaloog. Our only recruiter, 3 Mystic Tomato, just gets us to Don Zaloog and a few other guys. The real mind games of this deck comes in with 3 Snowman Eater. So 1900 defense, and mandatory flips up. You target a monster your opponent controls that's face up and destroy it. This card is very good. The reason that it causes like a lot of mind games is if your opponent has something that can swing over Don, but can't swing over Snowman Eater, once they know there's a Snowman Eater that they have to take into account for, it becomes very scary on what if they want to attack or not. They don't know if it's a Mystic Tomato, a Dawn, a Snowman Eater, and it just gets really even more confusing when you add in this little Gravekeeper package. This is pretty much like our like consistency engine all day, and it's also placed into like the high defense, high reward engine. I feel like this was kind of like the cards I could side out. These were kind of like when I had like posted like that anti-meta list a few from my last Edison tournament. It was how I was playing the 3 Yada 3 Jar. These are kind of like the 3 Yada 3 Jar, where they're very easy side outs. Typically I would side out like a guard and a spy from these, or I could just side out all 6 if I wanted. But like the high defense is also very important. It just makes it very hard for your opponent to attack over things, and just makes it very scary for them to attack at all. And then for one-ofs, Sangan, Reaper, Gores. Sangan is Sangan. This is pretty much your 4th copy of Gores. Your 4th copy of Spirit of Don Zaloog, and Gores is Gores. Only monster I really wish I'd been playing today, or over the weekend, was Dark Arm Dragon. There's definitely points where I kind of looked at my grave like, man, if I was playing a Dark Arm Dragon right now, it would go really well here. But unfortunately, I wasn't playing that. I just don't think I could have fit it in here. But looking back, I think there was changes that I could have made. Onto our Spell and Trap lineup, MST, Heavy, Rhoda, and Minecon for our one-ofs. It's all pretty just like basic stuff. MST, Heavy. Don Zaloog was the only target. I tried playing Exiled Force and then kind of realized it's not that great. So it ended up just being, this is like a fifth copy of Don Zaloog if you count the Spirit Reaper. And then Minecon, it was just like to either clear their field to get hit with Don Zaloog, steal like a flip effect, things like that. And then in spirit of playing a goat type deck, I played not 2 but 3 creature swaps. This just combos with like Sangan or Tomato, where you take like if they have like only a big monster, like say like there's a point against my zombie opponent where I go creature swap. I swapped my Tomato with his Caius, ran the Tomato over for 1,000, summoned Don Zaloog from deck, hit them again with Don Zaloog. This card is just really good when you combo it with Tomato or Sangan. Then there's pretty much 6 copies of playing 3 Shrink, 3 Mirror Force. These were the best but worst cards in my deck the whole time. So these cards serve different purposes, but also at the same time they serve the same purpose. Now the problem that these cards have, of course, is if you see them without monsters, they kind of suck. But when you see them with like a monster, they're kind of crazy. So Shrink lets you play either aggressively or defensively, while Mirror Wall is just extremely defensive. So while Shrink can have a single monster, and which means like you can go, like you can declare Dawn in something, shrink whatever you're attacking, or if they attack into you, you can shrink. Whereas Mirror Wall is just, if you attack, your monster's losing half its attack. So if you use Shrink defensively when your opponent has already gone wide, it's kind of like, it's not that great. Whereas Mirror Wall is going to like pretty much just turn them off of attacking for that turn. But Shrink allows you to play aggressively. So if there was any cards I would cut, I'd cut 1 of each. I wouldn't cut like 2 of 1 and keep the other at 3 because they serve different functions. So I'd rather still see an even amount of them. But if I were to cut them, I'd cut 1 of each. Then our other traps are, of course, 2 Deep Prison, 2 Bottomless, Mirror, Compulse, Torrential, Judgment, and a Dust Tornado. So Deep Prison's obvious. Bottomless was actually surprisingly one of the worst cards in my deck the whole time, but that's because of my matchups. It was only good, like it was good against Beast aggro. Against zombies wasn't that great. Against gadgets, of course, not that great. It was good against like Dandy Warrior if they synchro summon or summon Caius. I guess like Layla can hit, but like otherwise it was okay. Compulse was neat. The idea was it's kind of like a Raigeki break in this type of deck. So what I mean by that is like in a grind game, you can Compulse whatever's off their field, hit them with Don Zaloog, and then just like it gets ripped out of their hand by Don. So that was kind of a neat idea. And then I wanted to play 1 Dust Tornado in the main, just so I have a little more backrow removal, because this is a very attack heavy type deck. That like it's trying to play a very long game too, so it's trying to make sure your opponent doesn't have like the answers in the late game. So that's all for the main deck. Extra deck is pretty much irrelevant. You play 3 of these, and then the other 12 cards could be whatever you want, doesn't really matter. Side deck. The obvious ones are 2 Crow, 2 Cyber Dragon. These are just like the obvious things. The cards that were going to be, like, these were like 14 and 15 when I was trying to build the side deck. 2 Pachycephalos. Initially, they weren't going to go in at all. And then I was thinking more about it. I'm just like, wait a minute. These cards are really good when I go first. And if I see them with Shrink and Mirror Wall, they can't out my Pachycephalo with an attack, which is typically how people will go about it, right? So they typically just want to go summon something, attack the Pachycephalo. But now it's like, if they do that, now it's like, if you Shrink or Mirror Wall someone that's attacking the Pachycephalo, it's just like, you just go plus 1,000,000, because now you just got rid of their out to it. They just took damage, and you're just gonna summon another guy and just like beat face with this plus another monster. In spirit of playing like a goat theme deck, 2 Nobleman. My locals just has a lot of Raikou, so I figured this would be good. I never saw it the whole time. Every time I sided it in, I just wouldn't see it. But I feel like if I had seen it against where I sided it in, it would have gone really hard. The other two Dust Tornadoes. I only own one Royal Oppression. Played 2 Pulling the Rug. This card was great when I saw it. I sided it against my opponent that's playing Gadgets, and this card was just like, it was cool, it was very good. And pretty much the worst card in my deck all day was Starlight Road. Every time I saw it, it wasn't live. If I like seeing it early was really bad. I would see it like by itself and it was really bad. It was just very bad. I don't know like how else to describe it. It was just a very bad card. The only time that I could have resolved it, my opponent had Judgment. But otherwise, like, I think I saw it like 3 or 4 times, and 3 out of those 4 times, it's just like, this card doesn't do anything. This is not a good card at all. I think this would be like, cut 1 for Royal Oppression, cut the other for third pulling the rug, would probably be the right cuts. This card is just not it. Yeah, otherwise, that's like, the Don Zaloog deck. Overall, I had a really great time. This deck really just pulls you down into the mud and makes you just play a very back and forth game, which is just like pretty much what I really enjoy here. There's a lot of different like ideas and concepts that went in when I was building this deck. If you want to see this deck in action, there is a 2.5 hour live stream I posted last week where I was building, testing. There's a lot of like I talked about a lot of like theory behind like my card choices, things like that. I played like a couple matches where you can like hear me just kind of like go on about what cards and like what plays and things like that. So I think that was a very good stream if you want to learn more about this deck. But let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments. If you like this video, of course, please like and subscribe. It goes a long way. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. All I can do at this point, you know, just like I recommend the live stream. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff is awesome. And I guess I will catch you guys in the next one.